Sukhdev, 6 years old, watches as his mother dies. Try to feel the tragedy coming towards Sukhdev, who has only one parent, his mother. And after some hour, his name will enlist in the file of orphan children. Let's meet with the gift of God, Sukhdev. Today I'm gonna tell you the story of a person's life, and I want all of you to live that story. He was also a normal human like you, but today he has something which you don't possess. That's AIDS. It's nearly 2 years ago. I came to know my son was fighting with AIDS. Doctor also advised me and my wife that we should also have AIDS checked up, and he was right. We were also a part of that disaster. Few months later, I lost my son. At that time, we thought that we have got nothing to live for, but we were wrong. My wife was pregnant. This baby came a reason of living for my wife, as she knew that the baby could be safe if it is taken out by surgery. When her pregnancy period got completed, I took my wife to hospital for delivery. When we showed our HIV positive card to nursing staff, nurses abused my wife and they refused to do delivery of my wife. I can't explain the extent of their misbehavior, and they even didn't allow us to sit in that hospital. You can imagine, we spent the entire night under a tree just outside the hospital. On one hand, my wife was suffering from labor pain, and on the other hand, I was losing my confidence. Nurses got timid when our doctor threatened them, and finally, they admitted my wife in the storeroom of that hospital. This is the only good thing they can favor us. She was put in a very filthy room on a broken iron bed, and the room was full of foul smell of dead rats, and some waste blood was also spread all around. My wife delivered a baby under extremely adverse circumstances. As due to lack of interest of nursing staff, it was a natural delivery, and the baby, who was unaware of everything, was also infected by HIV. I know the destiny of my lives, so I want to request all of you, please don't root us out of the society. There are millions of such stories which are yet to be uncovered, and no one is paying attention towards their pain. In addition to the pain, poverty is also a side effect of the AIDS. A virus has been sweeping the world for the past 2 decades, causing a disease which has killed millions of people and which looks likely to kill millions more. It's not a disease like cancer of old people, it's a disease of young people, and the worst is that it is ignored by them. And it spreads and spreads and spreads all around the world. So we are facing a human tragedy in incredible proportion. From where did this terrible virus come? The origin of AIDS remains a mystery about which the scientific community has long kept silent. Lack of interest or fear of knowing. Yet isolated voices have drawn some questions which attempted to break the silence. Nearly 40% of the 5.2 million HIV positive people in India are women, and nearly 80% of them have contracted this infection from their husbands or partners. While the general public continues to believe that most women with HIV are sex workers, official numbers indicate that they make up less than 1% of the 2 million female infections. 4 years old Gaurav and just 7 months old Nikki don't know the end day of their life. They both have been HIV positive since their birth. They are both dying. It is very difficult for their mother. They are a big problem for their lonely parent, their mother Lakshmi. She injects them twice a day and then she injects herself. Lakshmi is also dying with AIDS. This is the AIDS which has spread to many parts of the world. Husband to wife, mother to infants. Most parents wish health, happiness, long life and prosperity for their children. Lakshmi has just one wish for her kids. A wish that no mother should ever know that the children will die first. The feeding task may be even more difficult sometimes for Lakshmi in comparison of suffering from symptoms of AIDS. When the bread and butter of the family dies, the entire family suffers. And when both the parents die, imagine the condition of the small shoulders of the orphan children. Lakshmi's story is very common to the women suffering from AIDS. Women suffer various forms of violence all through their lives. HIV has now been added to these problems because women find it very difficult to negotiate safe sex or condom use. The consequences of contracting HIV is severe. Women face homelessness, increased violence, loss of jobs in families, and lack of access to treatment and care. The problem is ours, and together we can make a difference in the life of one child, one father, one mother, a mother like Lakshmi, whose only wish is to live without her children. Lakshmi can hope, but millions of people around the world don't have the luxury. Their greatest fear has already come true. 6 weeks later, Gaurav and Nikki died. Our hands are not tied. Join the fight. In 20 years, AIDS has become the worst medical catastrophe ever experienced by humankind. Worst of all, there is no cure. 13 million children have been orphaned by AIDS in sub-Saharan Africa. Some 40 million people worldwide are living with HIV. Every day, 1,400 children die of HIV, and another 1,500 become infected with HIV. 3 of them died during this video. This is not an imagination. This is the reality of the devastation caused by HIV. Every statistic has a story, and every story has a face. These are the missing faces of AIDS. These are the victims of the tragedy which have not seen. These scenes are taking places all over the world.